Hi, I'm John, and this is our Transit 350. It's an extended high roof. It's a 2019, and we've been living in it for 1 year as of 2 days ago. I'm a designer, and the home was actually designed using a 3D modeling software. We took the parts from the 3D model and cut them on a CNC machine. They were assembled, and then we put them inside the van. So before we even get in the van, there's a few things to note here. The first thing is that we have our propane grill that we use that we can keep either here or that we'll put on a picnic table or somewhere outside. So the van is run entirely on electric on the interior, but having propane is nice on days where there isn't sun. If it's been raining for a long time, then your solar power is pretty depleted. So having a backup option is pretty critical. So we have propane here, and again, we can use it as is on the top shelf. And then the next thing that we have is our shoes. So moving in and out of the van, trying to keep the van clean, which is a near impossible thing to do. But being able to switch into the shoes that you want, whether we're hiking or going rafting or something, then all of those things that we can pick out the right shoe and they don't get tracked into the interior. So something that we foolishly did not add to the van when we left was insect screens. So since we've been on the road, we did add insect screen. We did a little hack so that they're always on the van, so we don't have to have some additional place to keep them. So they're always at the ready. They're attached by magnets, and they're a really great fit. We actually purchased them. These we did not make ourselves. But so both of them come down and then they just roll right back up when we don't need them. But if you're thinking about van life, buy insect screens. So hiding behind our insect screens, we have some LED light switches. So we have this one, which is underneath, sort of a task or working light. And these ones are overhead, which you can see above. And then we also have a set over here for the kitchen. And what's nice about all three units is they actually have control so that we can increase or decrease how bright they are. Something that was really critical to our design was the ability to have a lot of privacy. We both enjoyed spending time in the forest and nature, but we also really like being in cities too. So designing something that was really offered a lot of privacy was important. And so we designed this bulkhead with the intention of giving us additional privacy, but also for temperature control. So the cab of the van, because it's all windows, is either very hot all the time or very cold. And so being able to open and close this was an important design element. This passenger seat is on a swivel. We're able to swivel that around, and it gives us some really nice seating configuration so that we can, sometimes just sitting on the bench seats can get uncomfortable, or one of us just needs to take a meeting or something. So it offers a little bit of privacy between both of us during work hours. So this is our living room / office / bedroom. It all pivots around our table. The table was designed so that we had a nice way of getting from the front of the van to the back of the van. The other thing that's really critical about this is because we wanted a stealthier van, we only have one window in the back. And so this area then is centered around being able to look out of the slider or out of the window on cold days. So this goes down, and then we're able then to transform this area to the bedroom. We have a couple of outlets. There's outlets with USB-Cs here, and then we also have one here. And then we also have an additional monitor that's over here that we'll use as a second monitor for working, or when we're in bed, sometimes we'll watch movies on it. This is an epoxy tabletop. It's just plywood, and it was stained and then has a bar resin epoxy on the top. And then the pedestal below just has 2 levers. You open the levers, and then we can push this down and then clamp it again. Now, when we clamp this, we want it to be the same level as the benches, and then we'll open our bed over that. Sometimes we actually like to work with this down too, because what it allows us to do is just to be able to stretch out. Having a really versatile space is really important. I see a lot of builds where they have like really stationary benches and not a lot of opportunity to move around and change position. And that was something that we really wanted to do. So sometimes we'll even take a nap during the day after a hike or something, and we just put another cushion here, and then we don't have to make the bed. We can just lie out and relax. So underneath the benches, under this one is basically where the slide outs live for the propane stove and our shears. But this direction is all storage. So if we were to lift these, you can see that we have basically a bunch of storage under here, and it's really quite deep because while it starts here, it actually goes back beyond the assembly of the bed. And so these are almost 4 feet in depth, so it gives us a lot of storage underneath.
The way the story has been told is that sometime in 2018 we came back from an amazing trip around a bunch of different islands in Greece, and we said, why can't we do this more days out of the year instead of having to save up vacation time and save up travel money? How could we travel more and work it into our lives? And so this is the solution that we came up with.
When we were in Greece, the idea that maybe being stationary at this point in time wasn't what we wanted, that we liked the adventure, that we're both at our best and are just enjoying life the most when we're in a place of discovery. The way we thought about designing the home was sort of on the model of an airplane. So all the storage is up and high, and it goes all the way around the van, with the wider part being down low where you're actually sitting. So we sit in the van 90% of the day, working, relaxing, and otherwise we're either out of the van or we're getting something out of these easily accessible cabinets, or we're cooking. So having these be accessible up high, that allowed us to have a wider area below, is really important. Above here is what we call the attic. This goes over the cab, so there's a false ceiling that's in the cab. So this is really deep storage, and it has a lot of our outdoor gear in it. And then we have some electronics in this one. This one is our clothes. So these are also quite deep. So the way that we do this strategically is that we keep our seasonal clothes of whatever season it is in the front, and then right now that's sort of still warm. So I have my warm clothes, or my cool clothes here, and then warmer clothes for winter stuffed in the back. And then those will alternate as the seasons happen. So above the sliding door, we have this shelf that we use when we're entering and exiting the van. It has our awning hack. We have a sunshade that's up here. So when we go out, we get anything that we need when we just want to take it from inside to outside. Things that we use frequently go up here. So we have hats and towels, bear spray. All of that stuff just lives up here above the sliding door. We have a wardrobe too. This houses our larger jackets, some formal wear for work events and weddings and that kind of thing. And then on the bottom of it is warm things like gloves, scarves, mittens, etc. So this is our kitchen, and it was designed to be short so that we could fit a queen-size Murphy bed in here. The countertops, again, are just plywood with resin on them, and the stainless or aluminum backsplash. Starting from the left to right, we have a Berkey water purifier that we can use, and when we flip the lever, then we can get the filtered water here. And then on this side, we have, medications, and our dog supplies are in this one. And then these two are for cooking. So food items here. We're a little depleted right now. We're actually staying with some friends at this exact moment. So we're cooking with them. So this is usually a lot more jam-packed with food. We can typically last about a week on the road between going back to the grocery store. Everything is worked on these ropes that are going all the way through from all three of them. It gives a little bit of slack, but it keeps everything from being able to fall out. We opted to go with these sliders that I made because pulling something towards you or lifting this way, there just isn't a lot of room. And so this gives us full opening without having to duck or dodge out of the way. And so we're really happy with that. In the counter, because it's a really small countertop, we made a leaf extension. So the leaf extension is over here, and it slides up, and then it just locks into this guy to extend the countertop. So between using this area, and then we'll use the table sometimes, between Jess and I, one of us may chop vegetables at the table while the other one is cooking. It gives us plenty of counter space in here. So the sink is a hideaway. So it opens, and then our faucet actually folds up. It's a sort of the standard RV option. And we like that too because you don't need the sink very often. So you generally want the counter space. So hiding the sink is really nice. You can also chuck dishes in here and close it and forget about them until we're ready to do the dishes. So we have a water tank here, and we have a water tank on the driver's side as well, because they're shaped to go over the wheel well. So our wheel well is located at this location and this location. So we have 44 gallons of water, 22 gallons on each side that go over the wheel well. So these are a little bit of gymnastics to actually get a lot of storage in them. But you can see we have some bowls, our blender. We usually have coffee and stuff in here, and then our cleaning supplies are below that. And in this one, we keep our Instapot, our induction cooktop. We have some sieves and strainers, and some other supplies that are down there too. So the Backsplash is a stick tile backsplash. It's a little bit lighter weight, and what's nice about it too is you don't have to worry about individual tiles rattling off when you're driving. I think vibration is the enemy of a lot of van builds, so these peel and sticks are really nice. They come in a lot of patterns, and then we have power for our appliances, and then just things that we use all the time we'll keep on this magnetic strip. And then dish rack. So the dish rack goes into the sink when we're driving, and again that expands the usable area on the countertop too. So here is our Max Air fan remote, which we never use actually, because the Max Air fan is like 4 feet away. So we just turn it on and turn it off manually. And then this is actually the thermostat for our radiant floor heat. So the radiant floor heat is actually an electric product. And so it runs at really high watts, around 500 watts. And so, we use it primarily either A, when we're driving because our alternator charges our batteries, or B, if we have shore power. So if we're staying at a campground, then usually we'll plug them in. Otherwise, they're not super efficient. They are comfortable. The floors do get warm, and it does raise the temperature in here, but it is a bit of an energy hog. So we're very mindful of when we use the radiant floors. On the other side of our wardrobe is our upright refrigerator. It's a pretty good fridge. For space, again, we can go about a week in between grocery shops. It does have a small freezer component as well. And it's a great unit. Below that, we have our pots and pans, and this one gets a lock because anything that is a heavy drawer has a tendency to want to open. So we do have push lock, push open, hinges or sliders on everything, but with the amount of weight that's in here, an additional lock is helpful. And then this one is kind of our catch-all drawer. zip ties, headlamps, dust spray, first aid kit, batteries, etc. So all of that stuff lives in this drawer. And this one is toiletries. And then below this, we have some other small storage, but again, our water tanks are under here, so they're very shallow. So protein powder, our fire extinguisher, and some other stuff live in this guy. And then, water bottle, tequila, and just some other stuff, like we have a to-go bag and stuff like that are down here as well. So one of our favorite custom features that we built for the van was our doghouse. We have an old small dog, and he has a home here. So I basically just reappropriated a door from an old kennel that we had, and then made a new frame for that. So he actually loves sleeping in here. It's definitely a safe space, and people are always pretty excited to see the dog kennel.
We didn't plan to take furniture or keep a lot of our physical materials that were in our apartment, so there was incredible downsizing, regifting, selling, donating, and moving as much of our materials as possible in ways that were conscious. We didn't want to contribute to trash or take perfectly usable items out of the hands of people who could use them, so that was really important in debulking our Brooklyn-based life, and then also redesigning
conscious debulking.
yeah. And then also rethinking about how we wanted to work, and that changed from having a commute to a physical office to rethinking how can we work and sustain ourselves remotely, and then saving too. So that getting home from Greece kind of started the clock, and a little over a year later, we were fully on the road in this van.
So the van is powered from a custom roof rack that we made. Has 600 watts of solar panel, and we have 2 LED lights and the skylight and max air fan on the roof. And here our garage. The garage is a combination of where we keep our bikes and also our bathroom. So we have a shower and a composting toilet in the back. And then over here, we keep our sports gear. So right now it's bicycle, skateboard, helmets. And then we have our electric panel that's back here. And then our batteries and our hot water heater are down at the bottom. So the batteries are Goal Zero units. We have a 1400 and a 3000, and we have them in vented cubbies so that they don't get wet from the shower. So because we both work remotely, it's important that we are connected at all times. So we have a MoFi router that's connected to a SIM card, and we have AT&T and Verizon service for that. And then we also have a WeBoost, and so we use the WeBoost to actually amplify the signal for the MoFi router. That's located up in the top corner there.
My name is Jess, and my pronouns are they, them.
I'm John. My pronouns are he, him. And this is Sebastian, and you don't know what's going on.
And you can learn more about us on Downshifters through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We also have downshifters.com, which is our website. And if you enjoyed hearing John walk you through these different parts of the van, he does it in even more detail on the website. So you can learn all about our systems, how they work together, the materials that we chose, how we troubleshot any of the issues we came up against. So I definitely recommend checking that out.